Hello, welcome back to the channel. It has been a long time. Uh, Sorry. Um, I've been busy. Work. That's it. That's the main reason. Anyway, I'm just gonna jump back into it. No need for feeling sorry. We're back. Um, so last time, this is where we left off. The plan was to do a lot of UI work on the engine side and to design the first level. Um, and I can confidently say about 50% of that was done. Um, oh, along with actually, I fixed this too, so that's 66%. That's not bad. Um, so what happened? What happened instead? Because it's not like I haven't been working on the game. Um, well, I can say what happened instead was I got about 80 80% of the way towards completing all of the core systems. Now, here we are in the game. Whoa, where'd everything go? It's all gone. No, because one of the objectives I had last time was to, where is it? Create some way to trigger new scenes. And so that's what this is. I created a level manager here that contains the scene and the corresponding assets. So now if I press 1, I load the mall scene. If I press 2, I load scene 1. Now, so this is scene 1. Um, yeah, there's no cashier because I plan on reworking the dialogue system and the blah, blah, NPC system, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna be a whole thing. Next sprint. Next sprint. It's coming, I promise. Okay, so a lot happening. Zombie pathing is 90% fixed. So as you can see, when he runs into me and he collides into something, this map isn't the best to showcase it on, but you can still see the principle at work. Um, you see he's heading towards me, he collides, starts pathfinding. He can attack me. Blah, blah, blah. Heading towards me, collides, starts pathfinding. It's a very simple little thing, but it works now. And you can see these little squares represent the A-star grid, actually. They represent where the zombie cannot go. So if you'll notice, actually, this is a better map to showcase it on. Let me just, apologies if this is loud, but let me just get rid of these and then showcase. So you can see zombie here, heading towards me, collides with the wall there. It's going to happen again. There you go. He collides with it and starts pathfinding around it. And so, yeah, if I slow down frame by frame, oh, maybe not there. Um, if I slow down frame by frame and walk through it, you can see he's heading towards me, heading towards me, heading towards me, heading towards me. Let's speed it up. Heading towards me. Is he going to collide with the wall? There. Just collided with it, and now he's pathfinding towards me. Just like that. So, that's the new pathfinding system. Yep. Oh, and as you can see, if I switch between levels while there are zombies, everything cleans stuff up. And I transition between levels with the weapons I had in the last level. It works. Let's see what else. So yeah, as I was saying, about 80% of the core systems, and I mean core systems as in like these systems designers will use to actually create the game, are done. So I have a way to create or add like models or like yeah, add models, add assets. That's the word. Sorry, add like assets to the scene easily. Which I plan on making a video going through the asset management at some point, hopefully soon. Um, I have a way to do that. I have a way to create lights. You can see here. If I go through the code, you can see the code is right here. I don't love this, and I do want to change this, but we'll see. Um, yeah, the way to add lights, the way to add weapons and ammo and health. Um, Again, I'll go over that in its own separate video. But yeah, so 80% of the core systems are done. What's left? Um, well, like I said, I don't love how these lights are added. There's also a lot of polish left. This just looks very ugly, and I don't love it. So I might find some way to rework that. And right now, the systems are very, in terms of how they're laid out in memory, it's very disorganized and it has to jump around in memory and over. And like previously, I've just been leaving that to the wind. Just don't care because it's a loading thing that only happens once at the beginning of every scene, like every time you load a scene. So it's not something happening every single frame. So I don't care if it's that slow, but I don't know. I've been changing my philosophy about that kind of thing lately, and maybe I'll change it, maybe not. We'll see. Um, but I think that's about it for the code. There's some things I could go through, but I wanna leave that to its own separate video. Um, because I want these sprint walkthroughs to be more up like devlog updates. Obviously still going through the code and functionality of the code because that is what this whole channel is about. But yeah, I'm gonna have a separate video dedicated to very intensive, deep dives into the code. Anyway, moving on to the plans for next time, which will hopefully happen soon. So, um, yeah, if you want, you can pause and read all this. I spent a lot of time writing it. That's not true, but you can read it. Um, Essentially, I'll summarize it. Um, I've been noticing a problem with the gameplay in that it is not very fun sometimes. And I think a lot of the a lot of the reason for that is the how the movement works or how it worked. I'm in the middle of changing it, so you might have noticed some of the collision was a little weird between the player and the walls. But regardless, um, yeah, it's not very fun because previously how it was being done is whenever the player would collide with a wall or a collidable, the player would just stop moving. It wouldn't be allowed to move left, right, anything, as long as it was colliding with the whatever it was colliding with. But that's obviously not fun. Um, and like the way most games do it is you'll slide along things. So if you're walking into a wall, let me draw. If you're walking into a wall like this, you'll slide this way or this way, depending on which way. But you won't be able to move on past the wall, if that makes sense. So I want to implement this sliding. And the way to do it, I think, is whenever the player collides with the wall, I want to get the normal of whatever it collided with and essentially use that to cancel out any movement the player wants to make. So if the player wants to move this way, he won't be allowed to because this vector, the face normal of the thing he just collided with, will cancel it out. And so he'll only be allowed to move this way. Um, yeah. Hopefully, okay, sorry. Hopefully that made sense. Uh, Moving on. Here's how I plan to do it because the math itself is pretty simple. It is just since all the collision is just box volumes colliding with one another. There's only box volumes. There's no like capsules or anything. There's B spheres, but no, we're ignoring that. Since all the collision is between box volumes, it and I'm already using separated axis theorem or SAT to calculate the collision test or to do the collision test. That enables me to collect the collision normal pretty easily. The problem is getting that data to the user without having to unnecessarily calculate the collision normal for every single collision happening. And so the system I came up with was creating this struct right here, a collision info struct that you would use whenever you register a collision or whenever you register collidable to test for collision essentially. And that would tell the collision manager and the collision test um, what information you want. And so eventually in the callback here, it would use this info to return to you exactly what you want. The problem is this here, the engine math. The engine math uses, since the collision volumes are all very heavily abstracted, I can showcase this. Hopefully I can showcase this. Engine systems, volumes. Okay, so box volumes. Here, there's okay. The OBB and the ABB are three layers of inheritance deep, which is listen, sue me. Listen. I was in college when I wrote this. Well, yeah, and object oriented was the only way. So don't kill me, please. But there's a collision volume, then there's a box base, and then there's the AABB and OBB. So the collision volume in the box base, which is all the collidable knows it has. It doesn't know about AABBs or OBBs or binding spheres, any of that. It doesn't know about any of that. All it knows is it has a collision volume. And so when it comes time to test for collision, I use this I forget what the pattern's called. Intercept? No. In wait. Accept visitor pattern. That's what it is. Visitor pattern. Um I use this visitor pattern here to basically get down to the correct test. Um, so I don't know so this callback has no idea. All this callback has is a collision, two collidables with who themselves have no idea what kind of collidable they have or what kind of collision volume. Sorry. Um, so I have no idea how to run this. Now I could run this in the test command class, but the test command class. Actually, I could run it in that. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not the point. The point is that's the plan for that, for the new collision design. Um, the next thing, since like I said, 80% of the core design tools are done, I want to start actually doing some designing. So I'm gonna finish scene one, and not just have it be an empty. Well, it's gonna be an empty room, but not just have it be give it more life basically. And the way I want to do that is lights, figure out the final placements for like health packs, stuff like that. Um, yeah. Overall, I like how it looks right now. Let me showcase it one more time. I like how it looks right now. Don't get me wrong, but I think more could be done. For example, I want this red light to be flashing. I want there to be multiple, like in the corners of the room, maybe like in an actual like emergency scenario. Maybe I could make it darker. Ooh, there's also fog. Also fog that I have to factor in. So a lot of designing has to be done there. Um, then I want to start storyboarding out the next few missions because if we go back to I think it was over here. Yeah, over here. This is the only script I have so far, and I just need more for so I can start I can start designing the next few levels. And hopefully in Sprint 5, spoiler alert, um, I can start actually implementing some more and more levels. I want to be done with this project by hopefully Sprint 10, which will hopefully happen before September, towards the end of August. That's when I hope to release like a early build of this game, early build like slash final version. But yeah, that is about it for this. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.